y'all. Trying to save my feet and toes. Cause if I stop walking, y'all, the coffee at the feel just the news. Great Rod isn't, y'all. Great Rod isn't. Come on for the walk. Or get your chair, get your weights, line up. If you're walking wall to wall. I look like those white face vaudevillian. Well, if anybody's young, they don't know what I'm talking about. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Get your weights, get your chair, get your mats. If you're doing yoga, jump on your bike if you're bike rider. Start your treadmill if you're walking on the treadmill. So let's get started. Great Rod isn't, y'all. Oh, Lord. No, we don't use that term no more. Oh, where did that come from? Well, anyway, they've been vibing with me. Oh, hi, my name is Vicki. Coming to you live from this penal colony, aka USA, aka America, but known as a penal colony. Check the history. So the ancestors been vibing with me. I mean, oh, this whole immigration thing. They've been doing it for quite some time, but I can shut them out for so long. And then they just like, oh, so here we go. To make sure we didn't have any jobs or anything like that. That's when they started pushing that, sit us, you're poor, you're young, you're this, you're that. And they were begging for immigrants because they didn't want to hire the descendants of the enslaved people. Now, the only thing that our ancestors did was they fought. It said in the history we ruled England, if not Europe. But you know how time goes by, and we became, our ancestors became prisoners of the war of the King of England. He had penal colonies all over the place, as they do now. And this penal colony, they reinvented with the story of kicking out a king and now becoming independent. And then on the 4th of July, Liarville, Lion Slime Balls, they tout the fact that they are independent. But they're penal colony. So having said that, you have to know the hundreds of years, because they've been, they talk about, everything they talk about is for the black people. Well, do some little research. I mean, dig deeper than what's obviously in front of you. We was taught this place was put together as a penal colony for the Irish. That's what I learned in East New York. The lies. They came over, but not as prisoners. Overseer patty rollers. And they still that to this day. Patty rollers. So they want me to break it down. I think it got to be my mother's generation, because they came up here. They left Virginia to come to New York for jobs, because jobs was here. But they didn't know these villain lowlives on this penal planet, on this penal colony, didn't want them to have jobs. So that's why they rushed to open the floodgates for Europe. Just go back to your history. I can go back even further. right at the emancipation by Lincoln, anyway, they were giving land away in the Midwest, the Dust Bowl, and all those places like that. They were giving away hundreds of acres of land, but not to our ancestors who were, quote, freed. No, but they said, come on, Europeans. It was all in all the European newspapers and everything. But we was right here. The few that do know, that's the ones that they said, oh, for generations, African American generations, we can't give it up, because they were the few that got it. They got their little coins together. And they bought the land. I would say that's the foundation of Greenwood, which we call Black Wall Street. Anyway, they didn't want us to have it because we were still the inmate, born and blood, inmate criminals. Why? Because our ancestors kicked the King of England. What does that have to do with this penal colony? Everything. It's the King's penal colony. I was watching. No one else can jump out of that European Union. No other country can jump out of that union and survive. But England did. They spent years, because me and my daughter, we used to look at the Commons when they met. When May was in office, or the president, prime minister. We used to like to see her and how they jump up and down with their books and stuff. We really enjoyed that. But we were also learning that even through all the transition and everything, England didn't lose a beat. Didn't miss nothing. But we can't get no free health care. We can't get anything. Our taxes go up. What the hell? And the fact that you're still hating us for a king that you say you hate isn't the same. The enemy of my enemy is my friend. After they kicked the king out, we was all supposed to be up here having a good old time, especially the enslaved people. They were free. That was a lie. This is a penal colony. We just wasn't bound to one area. They just stopped shooting us. Oh, it took them a long time. They're still shooting us. Anyway. For something that our ancestors did to the king 600 years ago. And this penal colony will not say that. The wardens on this penal colony wouldn't say it. At least in a country, it would be in the history. It would be mandatory. But not this penal colony. It doesn't work like that. How do you think that vile orange shit stain could be the warden of this penal colony? No, he couldn't be the president of any halfway decent country. But he could be the warden of this penal colony. He can get elected and come back in. It's a penal colony. All he has to do is be a horrible warden to the descendants of the African slaves who were prisoners of war to the King of fucking England. all you have to do is make sure they don't get nothing and go nowhere. You're a warden. This is a penal colony. And we, because it is a penal colony, are number one, blood and born inmate criminals if we ain't never did nothing. My father ain't never broke no law. He was humiliated after coming back from fighting in the Korean War. He was humiliated. He had to stand up in the back of the bus in his uniform. And I know the whites was pointing at him and laughing. That's what he got. This is a penal colony. But he know, how did he get to Korea? They made it so hard for you to live. And the only job that would hire you and give you an education and money was the military. See how vile these villains are on this penal colony? So, here's my grandmother's generation. I went too far back. So when they ran up here, they ran north from the south in a big migration that they don't talk about. Oh, they came in from England. Oh, they came in from Europe. Oh, they migrated from there. No, on this country. They had to move from the south to the north to even be able to live, to halfway feed your kids. But then they got up here and it was horrible. My mother used to sit in the dark and cry. She just didn't expect this. She didn't expect this. She didn't expect that the only work she could get is the day labor. And then, I'm getting to the point now. And then they started opening up the floodgates for the South Americans. They became your domestics. Anything that African Americans could do, because remember, the reason why they started training these prisoners in jail, because listen, let's look at the prison in order to look at the penal colony. Let's take it to the little, look at the big. They didn't educate them. They didn't teach them a trade. They didn't do anything. They they'll reoffend. They didn't teach them anything because they wanted them to reoffend. They wanted them in that brick and mortar prison to work for free or for 25 cents an hour. Or whatever it was at that time. They wanted them there. So that's how they did come on out the brick and mortar and come on this penal colony. Same thing to our ancestors. They didn't teach us to read. We had to steal away. If we were caught with a book, we were shot. If you were caught teaching or in a group, they would shoot everybody that learned because they did not want that education to go out. So then we got no trades. Why wouldn't we have a trade? Because if we had a trade, we would take our trade, leave the plantation, and go make a living. So no trade. No reading, no trade, no nothing. And then them buzzards, these vile, villain, low-life scumbags, they made sure to put it out on the airwaves. These blacks don't know how to do nothing. Come on, South Americans. Y'all have skills. And what you don't have, we'll show you. Because these lazy blacks, but they liars. They liars. Liars. That's not what it was. Just like a prisoner is put out of prison, brick and mortar, he's let out and he's put in the front of the gate. They just started giving him some money because they knew it was closely related to how the enslaved, our ancestors, was free. They would take him and put him on the gate, nothing. And of course they would reoffend and come back. That's the purpose. So now, come out the building, come on this penal colony. Same thing to our ancestors. Teach them nothing. Show them nothing. Emancipation Proclamation came, they said, you're free. They didn't know how to count. They didn't know how to do anything. This vile penal colony, trying to call itself a nation. A nation. I've seen nations. This ain't one of them. This is a penal colony. This is a floating or a landmass prison. Now, one man's prison is another man's freedom. It's our prison. And it's people who's fleeing freedom. Yeah, come walk with me. Save your feet and toes. Yeah, I said come walk with me. Save your feet and toes. Cause if I stop walking, y'all, they'll cut me up until I'm just a nose. Yeah, come walk with me and save your toes and feet. Yeah, I said come walk with me. Save your toes and feet. Cause when you walk with me, you can eat the food you want to eat. I'm walking, y'all, trying to save my feet and toes. I said I'm walking, y'all, trying to save my feet and toes. Cause if I stop walking, y'all, they cut me up until I'm just a nose. I'm walking, y'all, trying to save my feet and toes. Yeah, I said I'm walking, y'all, trying to stay ahead of the sugar cane. If I stop walking, y'all, the cane gonna trip me up. Yeah, come walk with me. Save your feet and toes. Yeah, I said come walk with me. Save your feet and toes. Cause if I stop walking, y'all, they'll cut me up until I'm just a nose. Yeah, come walk with me and save your toes and feet. Yeah, let's get back to it. Yeah. So, that's why these vile villains on this penal colony will not give reparations. That's why there will never be a national health care on this penal colony. Though in the brick and mortar prisons there is. They said now the states on the penal colony, each penal state is responsible. So they'll never tell the truth. That's why we won't get reparations, because they'll have to tell the truth that they are penal states. Now, somebody's been vibing me. They just want me to talk. Okay, let me put that out there. I remember as a child, they used to, all of a sudden, blonde was the thing to be. Blonde was the thing to be. Blonde was the thing to do. to be blonde. Blondes have more fun. Blonde, blonde, blonde. Everything was blonde, 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 blonde. You literally stop seeing redheads. You stop seeing brunettes and blonde, 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 blonde. The black hair, blonde, blonde. They were villainized. If you had black hair, you were always the villain in the movie. See the bullshit? Blonde, 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 blonde. And it wasn't until I got older and I started studying. First I read, because Mitch, he lived in our building, he was an old veteran. And he gave me the book Mein Kampf, My Struggle, by Adolf Hitler. And I read that and I was like, wait a minute. And then years go by, and then there's blonde, 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 everybody blonde, 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 oh, everybody blonde. If you have the slightest hint of blue vein sticking from underneath your skin, you were blonde. So, I can't remember what I was doing, probably the ancestors. And it hit me, I was like, wait a minute here now. I get that from Joyce. She used to always say that all the time. Wait a minute here now. Hitler said that the perfect race was the blonde people. And then on this penal colony, everyone started turning blonde. No more dark hair people in the movie, and if they were the villains. Poor black cat. For any other country, black cats are fine. On this penal colony, black cats catches it because, again, black means inmate, prison, all this other cult shit. And these vile villains. Oh, everything they touch gonna turn to shit. These vile villains. Don't trust them other countries. You are countries. Stop giving this just because they blow you up. Look at them. They blow up. And now you can say you're scared of them because they're bullies. That's all right. Because it's a penal colony. There's a lot of bullies here. A lot. But don't call it no nation. It's a penal colony on a landmass. It sits on a landmass between South America and Canada, if we break it down in states. If you just go by landmass, it's one big landmass. Anyway, these vile villains, they welcome them in. Oh, everybody's better than African American. Everybody is smarter. Everybody does everything. All over the place. When I was in my 20s, I would hear people say all the time, well, you know you're lazy. And they did the show on Living Color with the Jamaicans called 3 Jobs. 3 jobs. I got 3 jobs, man. And I remember the Jamaicans, they said that, oh, you lazy Americans, you can't. No, they wouldn't give it to us. You get 3 jobs and you get paid for 1. But even that they won't give to us because we have to maintain our status as desperados. So yeah, we're going to rob, we're going to scrape and stuff like that by design. And they was like, oh, you're lazy, you don't want to do anything, you can't get anywhere. They have no idea. I mean, generations now, like I said, if your mother or father was Jamaican, claim it. Don't claim African American status. I'm telling you right now. It is labeled as inmate criminal. My daughter is only half inmate criminal. You know, blood birth inmate criminal. And she's catching it. She's catching it. Ancestors said everything this AKA America, but we know as a penal colony touches, going to turn to shit. Don't make no deals with them. They don't keep their deals. They don't keep their words. They don't take responsibility for shit on this penal colony. They talk about it. Put your big girl panties on. Take responsibility. But when your whole existence is a lie, where does the truth start? So yeah, let those immigrants in and stop your bullshit. Because remember, they way better than African Americans. They way better. They way better. Remember, you wasn't hanging them and killing them and stuff when they was working in the fields. You let them come and go. Had cabins for them. When we tried to do it, you made our lives a living hell. And you want to pay us. But they don't tell that story. This lying penal colony, they ain't telling you that story. And that's what they've been badgering me about. So let them keep coming in. Like I said, Emancipation Proclamation came, and the government, the United States government, put out something for a land grant. Didn't make it to those people, those newly freed people, and if it did, they couldn't read. And didn't have any money. They didn't know the concept of money. They never had any. They were enslaved. But oh, this penal colony couldn't wait to put out there. You can't teach them. You can't really teach them. Them blacks, their heads are so thick. Lies you tell. Our kids are already coming out with brains greater and smarter than Einstein. Which lets you know it's all bullshit. It's we the greatest. I can't even look at TV no more, regular TV no more. I try to, like TV shows. They all look to me like, look, I'm white and I'm perfect. I'm white. Don't you wish you was me? I'm white. I don't. I look at Indian movies, African movies all the time. Because I was like, Africa, you don't know what these low-life Hatfields and McCoys have been telling us that's been going on with you. And we know because it's a penal colony, they are still trying to destroy you. Still trying. Still trying. Still trying. And the lies they tell. They still put up movies where you running around. It's culture. You do it because you want to. They run around here. One man got 50,000 wives and 100 billion fucking babies. And they don't say nothing about their little lives. Yeah, the ancestors was on me hard this morning. Obviously, this point didn't make it to the ethers. I hope it makes it now because I want to move on. But I can't. I mean, I'm all right with it. Like, I know I'm on a penal colony. When I was younger, I would go out there. I would take my chances, get my mind straight, and do what I have to do. But at this age, I don't gotta. And I've been seeing some stuff they've been doing to old black people. These patty rollers. No, thank you. No, thank you. I don't want to have no dealings with them. Yeah, I got a car. It needs a new engine. But I will not deal with mechanics again. You already got me. Then, though it's a local car, I'm not dealing with driving around here because that's another way the patty rollers get you. They get you in your cars. The car for African Americans, yeah, it's freedom and all this stuff, but it's also a patty roller magnet. You call it racial profiling. Patty rollers. They're genetically predisposed from being sent over here by the King of England as overseers and patty rollers to his prisoners of war, Africans who were our ancestors. And they're trained. They don't come up with new stuff. They ain't got to have no proof. They always say, oh, prove it. Prove it. Prove it to me. Prove it. Liars always say that. When you tell someone who knows something, when you say that to them, you know what they say? I'm going to check it out. But liars always say, prove it. Show it to me. You're just saying this. All right. Our 8-pound weights. Squeeze in your gut. Ooh. Tuck in your elbow. I wish I had more room. 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, honey, a car is a patty roller magnet. I don't feel like 65 being dragged out my car, thrown down on the floor, and have a knee put on my neck. Suck in your gut, tuck in your elbow. 10, not up, no down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I understand now why you gotta look to make sure you're using your arm and not your hand. Well, I hope I satisfied the ancestors. Whew! They want me to get that out. That's why all the immigrants was wanted. So we wouldn't get the land, we wouldn't get the jobs, we wouldn't get anything. And now all of a sudden, they hate them. This penal colony. Like, comment, share. Tell uncle, tell auntie, tell a cousin, tell a friend. Subscribe. Whew. I tell you. You put out so much energy when you do a live or something like this, especially walking and exercising. I know it don't look like I'm doing nothing for y'all, but that's y'all. For me, I know. Like, comment, share. Tell an uncle, tell an auntie, tell a cousin, tell a friend. Subscribe. Love yourself. Love me madly. Have a great day and see you tomorrow.